So, welcome all the panelists. So, today the topic is from vision to scale. So, basically मुझे लग रहा है कि it should be vision to scale. असल में from vision to scale ही है, लेकिन today as 2016 की अगर बात करें 16-17 जब स्टार्टअप्स का फेज स्टार्ट हुआ था अभी, तो उस टाइम पे नॉर्मली हम बात करते थे कि स्टार्टअप के लिए, अच्छे स्टार्टअप के लिए व्हाट शुड बी द फर्स्ट थिंग, दैट इज़ आइडिया, आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स आइडिया. फिर धीरे धीरे हो गया नई मार्केटिंग, फिर हुआ नई फंडिंग, फिर हुआ नई एग्जीक्यूशन. आज हम बात कर रहे हैं विजन के ऊपर एंड वी हैव सो मेनी रिनाउंड फाउंडर्स हेयर जिन्होंने स्क्रैच से बिल्ड किया और यहाँ तक अपने विजन के साथ, एंड दैट विजन इज़ विजन टू स्केल. दिस इज़ फ्रॉम विजन टू स्केल, दिस इज़ विजन टू स्केल. तो हम उसी पे बात करते हैं. एक्चुअली ये प्रॉब्लम्स हैं जिनको हम बार बार क्यूरेट करते हैं उनके सॉल्यूशंस को. तो मैं साथ में ऑथर भी हूँ, मुझे लिखने का शौक़ है, तो मैंने इन्हीं को देखते एक चीज़ भी लिखी थी. एक छोटी सी कोट मैंने लिखा था कि टू एवरी चैलेंज देयर इज़ अ सोल्यूशन इन दिस वर्ल्ड, राइट? बट मेरे अकॉर्डिंगली टू एवरी सोल्यूशन देयर इज़ अगेन अ चैलेंज. एवरी सोल्यूशन कम्स विद अ न्यू चैलेंज इनसाइड. तो आज हमारा चैलेंज भी यही है कि हाउ डू वी स्केल फ्रॉम अ विजन. तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं फ्रॉम आवर फर्स्ट पैनलिस्ट मिस्टर नवीन. वेलकम मिस्टर नवीन.
Thank you.
So question for you is, most businesses reach 5 to 10 CR turnover but struggle to reach 100 CR. So what change between building a business, what is the change there between building a business to building a startup?
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your question and good evening, everyone. It's pleasure to be here amongst this, people who are all successful entrepreneurs and I think leading lights not only for the Tri-City but for India as a whole. We have been having very informative sessions since evening. And everybody has touched upon most of the aspects, so that's always a disadvantage, when you're coming in late. But then, I was just praying that people miss out on some points and leave something for us. Having said that, I think we have all touched upon financial capabilities or funding. We have touched upon executional capabilities. Something which I think is even more relevant than financial ability is mental ability, the mental strength. And why I say so? The reason is, when you go to an investor or let's say just with an idea amongst your friends also, we are encountering too many questions, too many doubts, right? Every question actually dwindles or shakes up the person who goes out with the idea. Now that is where the mental strength comes in. You may be sitting on crores of funds, you may be having the best of the people behind you, but if you yourself as a budding entrepreneur is not having that mental strength, I don't think you can really walk the long rope, right? That's one. Two, when we talk about the topic vision to scale, and it has two connotations as you rightly said, scalability is definitely a question and there can be various ways to scale a business. But is that the only thing, right? 5 से 10 crore करना and then taking it forward is where your mental strength again comes into being, right? Raising funds, कोई बोलता है मैं स्टार्टअप फाउंडर पे पैसा लगाता हूँ, कोई बोलता है मैं आइडिया और फाउंडर दोनों पे लगाता हूँ, कोई बोलता है मैं बिजनेस प्लान कितना स्ट्रांग है उस पे भी लगाता हूँ, राइट? टू बी ऑनेस्ट, आई हैव बीन एन एविड इन्वेस्टर नाउ इन ऑलमोस्ट 47 स्टार्टअप्स. मुझे तो ऐसा कोई फॉर्मूला पता नहीं लगा बिकॉज नो साइज फिट्स ऑल, राइट? इसमें मुझे लगता है कि काफ़ी कुछ गट फील पे भी डिपेंड करता है, राइट? And we have a budding entrepreneur sitting right in front of us. We have the honor that she's hosting the program today, and she has been bouncing off some ideas with me which are probably brilliant ideas, right? But a little far from being, able to raise funds. But I think once she really works hard on it, probably she'll find many more people ready to fund than she actually needs. So ऐसा कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है. प्रोबेबली अगर फॉर्मूला मिल जाए तो शायद हमें इकोसिस्टम्स की ज़रूरत नहीं मिले पड़ेगी, ना ही फंड रेजिंग की लिए दौड़ना पड़ेगा इधर से उधर. आई मीन आई विल जस्ट सम इट अप दैट वे. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naviin ji. And my next question goes to the wisdom person, Mr. Arun. Arun ji, at what stage should a founder stop working in the business and start working on the business? And what is the, you can say, role of scalability inside that business?
Very interesting question, I would say. So when I look into the scalability part of it, my principle or my formula is that your unit economics needs to be perfect. So whenever you are working on any idea, just try and crack the code of unit economics. One single thing you should be able to do it in a perfect way. At the same time, it should make profit. And then only you should think about how to scale it. And the scalability idea, there are multiple ways to do it. I'll give you a couple of examples that, from since 2012, I have started 4 companies. So 4 different startups running in 4 different areas. And primarily I take company, in the business till the time I feel now it can run independently, and then hire a leader, give it to the person. And that's what I've been doing. The 4th startup is called 1 Million Founders, which I started 2 years back. The name 1 Million Founders is, I believe that from India we need to create founders, and the mission is to create 1 million founders before 2035. Okay, now the idea is quite perfect, I would say. Scalability here, I'm using hub and spoke model, where Delhi NCR is hub, and there are other cities like Chandigarh. We have our presence in Chandigarh, in Maharashtra, in Karnataka, Hyderabad, Varanasi, Guwahati. These are the places we have. These are spoke. So when I say spoke, meaning that majority of our resources are in the central, and as and when needed they travel. But now Bombay is becoming big, that becomes another hub, and from there we are further spawning spokes in, say, Pune, and that's how we are planning to scale. So one is that create a carbon team which is ready to copy your unit economics into different places, and that's how from vision to scale we are taking.
Thank you so much, Arun ji. Very well explained with an example of 1 million founders and with an example of hub and spoke model. Thank you so much, sir. My next question is with Mr. Lachman Singh Maluka ji. Sir, being the director of IAS Academy, Maluka IAS Academy, discipline, consistency and resilience are the qualities associated with civil services. Which of these qualities do you believe contributes the most to achieve success as defined by someone? मेरे लिए अगर सक्सेस कोई चीज़ है, क्या उसका मायने रखती है, क्या वो मायने रखती है, तो उसमें ये तीनों एलिमेंट्स क्या रोल प्ले करते हैं?
Out of all the 3 elements that are there, the majority of the people, they'll say that discipline is the most important. But I personally believe that it is consistency that plays the most important role. Discipline can be that you have to get up in the morning and, for example, study on a certain aspect or do certain business or build up upon the startup that you have built. But doing that boring thing time and again needs consistency. And that is where we see the same thing to students also. Till we started in 2016 and this is 2026, we have 550 plus students who have cleared UPSC. They are either into IAS, IPS or IRS and other posts. That's, I think, a good achievement. And this year also we had 65 students who cleared UPSC out of 958. 65 they were associated with Maluka IAS. When we take into consideration that what is the most important thing among all those students who cleared the exam, and the students who are unable to clear the exam, the most common factor is consistency that was there. There is a discipline that is there among good number of students, but consistency that is lacking. If you can work on a boring thing continuously for 2 years, continuously for 7 to 8 hours per day, that is a skill that is required to clear and crack UPSC. And I personally believe that that is also required for any startup or any other business that you're doing. We started in 2016 with my own capital. I think hardly we had some money. I'm coming from a good family, but I did not want to take it from my father. And starting from 2016, we have 17 different branches that are there, expanded at Maluka, yes. And diversified into other businesses also. For example, mining is there. Or we are working into AI, the company's AI for Globe, we are building up on a good way. So the objective is that we are consistently working, despite the fact we have diversified our own sources, despite the fact we have, in Punjab, we personally believe we have no competition with any other institute. And across the country, we are approximately 7th or 8th the major institute that has come up in civil service exam. One thing that is consistency that has continuously moved us and continuously working on the same day time and again.
So being successful, you yourself is a very good example of consistency, resilience, and discipline also. Thank you so much, sir. So my next question is with Mr. Mohit. Mr. Mohit Bansal has set up his own venture, GMI Infra, along with Mind Sai AI. So sir, मेरी आपसे क्वेश्चन यही है अभी, सिंस जो भी लोग बाहर जाते हैं, यू आर स्टडी फ्रॉम यूएस, तो बाहर जाके वापस आने का तो नाम ही नहीं लेते हैं. तो आपने ये डिसाइड कैसे किया कि मुझे बाहर वापस आना है इंडिया में, और इंडिया में GMI इंफ्रा को फिर से सेटअप करना है यहाँ पे. और सेकंड थिंग इज़ जो मेरे दिमाग में अभी अभी साथ में चल रही है कि नॉर्मली बेस्ट क्या होता है कि पैशन गोज़ प्रोफेशन. इन दोनों वेंचर्स में से आपका पैशन कौन सा है और आपका प्रोफेशन कौन सा है, एंड हाउ डू यू अलाइन योर सेल्फ with both these?
So what I would like to say is that even though you know that I've studied from the United States, but maybe I think you don't know is that I have a degree in computer science and applied maths. So I studied from the State University of New York, and God was kind. I got a degree summa cum laude with highest Latin honors in computer science, and I always wanted to do something related to technology. So that is the reason, that we started 3 years back an artificial intelligence company by the name Mind Sai AI. And currently we are working with 30 to 35 clients, which are mostly based out of the United States, for all their advertisement and Google ads and all those needs, because our AI company, it optimizes your whatever your ads are. So I think we have currently 4 Fortune 500 clients also on board. So if you were to talk about my passion, I'd say, that technology and artificial intelligence are my passion. Rather going back to when I was in the US, in 2013-14, more than 10, 12 years back, I'd write code back then there is this thing called neural networks. We would use MATLAB language in a university to write code. So I had created a lot of neural networks, like 12 years back, even though for my current AI company, I do not write code, but I've always loved writing code. And I believe the way I put is that technology is magic. So for example, you're sitting here, you talk to someone in the United States, you do a voice call. And now you're so used to talking to someone and seeing them on your phone that you don't realize, that the amount of engineering feat, or technology feat we as humans have been able to achieve over the last 15, 20 years, maybe 20 years, when we used to have pager and people used to send messages over the pager. And now technology is so heavily ingrained in our life every day that we tend not to see it as magic. But if you were to ask someone 20 years back, that there would be a day when you could see people in various countries, in 1 second and talk to them, people would call it impossible or magic at that point of time. So if you were to ask me, technology definitely is 100% my passion. And my profession, as you know, is real estate. Rather, I wouldn't even want to call it real estate. The way I put it is, we are infrastructure company wherein we want to build a lot of infrastructure for our country. We currently have one IT park in Mohali. We are almost about to launch a logistics park in Uttar Pradesh, and we have in pipeline, of building a free trade zone in Rajasthan. So we see ourselves as
an infrastructure company, and the reason we chose IT Park was again to promote, IT as a business in Mohali. I think next Jan or Feb we would come up with another IT Park in Mohali. So if it were to come to my profession, I'd say real estate is my passion and technology real estate is my profession and technology my passion. Thank you.
So you have very well integrated your passion with your profession, I think. Thank you so much, sir. So my next question again goes to Mr. Naviin Goel. Mr. Naviin, you have built multiple businesses across different phases of scalability, I think. Looking back, which emerging technology today reminds you of the early internet stage or the smartphone revolution, and why should an Indian entrepreneur start paying attention to that technology, basically?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question, right? So, see, technology is basically related to scaling itself, right? आप अगर ऐसा सोचें कि अगर आपको एक D2C डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भी करना है, जो शायद हमारा एक टॉपिक था कुछ टाइम पहले अभी, तो आप सोचिए एक स्विगी या एक जोमेटो या एक जेप्टो कैसे कनेक्ट होगा अगर टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं होगी, राइट? So technology is primarily the interface which is making things easier, faster, and you can say to some level of accuracy. Okay. Scalability के लिए something which we are missing out in our country is speed. Speed is a very, very critical component. The speed with which you can execute, right? Perfection पहले दिन से तो आएगी नहीं, it evolves, right? But speed is something which is definitely in one's hand, and that would depend on the GTM that you adopt, okay? Whether you take franchising, licensing, whatever route you want to take, right? Let's say for education, right? So I was heading a Singapore-based company which had just entered into India, about 20 years ago, and we had a target, okay, we have to set up about 200 plus educational points in India. So when I say in India, it has to be length and breadth of the country. And we could achieve about 250 in the year one, right? And that's the speed of execution. We never thought of what business model, but the target was how do we set up these 250? Rest we'll see later. Right? How we have to make them profitable, how do we have to reach out to more and more people. The other interesting aspect which somehow a lot of people miss out on, I would just refer to a book by John Case, right? And another movie with the same title, Danny DeVito, if people can relate to who Danny DeVito is. It is other people money, which is opium. So normally when we talk of opium, people only think of the drug opium, right? But opium is other people money. So when I read this idea buzz slogan, idea आपका पैसा हमारा, तो I think दूसरे के पैसे पे मौज करने का आजकल एक चलन हो गया है, right? You seek investors, burn their money and grow, right? And there's nothing wrong in it, okay? How intelligently and effectively you can do it is the question, right?
So basically this question was more of about कि what is that new technology जो अभी सेम वही टेक्नोलॉजी जो आज से 20 साल पहले जब इंटरनेट आया था या ये रेवोल्यूशन आया था ऑनलाइन रेवोल्यूशन, तो आज वो चीज़ जैसे एआई है, तो व्हाई एंड हाउ शुड एन इंडियन एंटरप्रेन्योर कनेक्ट विद दैट टेक्नोलॉजी, जो मेरे ख्याल से ऑडियंस के साथ भी रिलेवेंस रहेगी इसकी, कि क्या ऐसी चीज़ मुझे एआई के साथ फर्स्ट कनेक्ट करनी चाहिए. सपोज एक बिजनेसमैन यहाँ पे बैठा है ऑलरेडी, तो उस बिजनेसमैन को पहली ऐसी क्या चीज़ है जो एआई के साथ कनेक्ट करती है उसके बिजनेस को?
सर पहली चीज़ तो ये है, वो बिजनेसमैन को अपना बिजनेस समझना चाहिए. एआई तो बाद में आएगा, राइट? इंटीग्रेशन विल हैपन मच लेटर, ओके? द प्रॉब्लम इज टुडे पीपल हैव स्टॉप्ड अप्लाइंग देयर माइंड, राइट? दे फील मैंने एक क्वेरी डाली चैट जीपीटी पे या क्लाउड पे और मेरे को सोल्यूशन मिल गया. Now the challenge is how intelligently can you integrate your understanding on the ground with the technology. Technology can only help you execute and apply. Technology cannot give you absolute data or insights because it is evolving, right? आज जितना data क्लाउड के पास या चैट जीपीटी के पास आ रहा है वो हम लोगों की ही दी हुई इनपुट्स हैं, which is their becoming their proprietary, right? उसी को churn करके they are throwing solutions at you. Sometimes they are relevant, sometimes they are not. So it's not about knowing tech. Firstly, we have to have full control on our business idea or whatever we are doing. It is just facilitator. Technology is just a facilitator. It cannot be a business driver.
So true, so true.
Yeah.
So more precisely, जो भी बिजनेसमैन ये सोच रहा है कि नहीं मुझे AI अडॉप्ट करके अपने बिजनेस में इंटीग्रेट करके शायद उसी वक्त स्केलेबिलिटी मिल जाएगी, दैट इज़ रॉन्ग. फर्स्ट ही और शी शुड अंडरस्टैंड द बिजनेस कि मुझे कैसे करना है. जो भी SOPs ऑलरेडी बनी है उनको AI इसके साथ स्केल कैसे करना है, दैट इज़ द पॉइंट. एम आई राइट?
सो द अदर वे ऑफ लुकिंग एट इज कि शायद जो गलतियां आप नॉर्मल रूटीन में कर सकते थे, ये सब डेटा ड्रिवन जो चलन है, ये आपको वो रिडक्शन कर सकता है, आपका टाइम बचा सकता है. अगेन व्हेन आई कम टॉक ऑफ टाइम बचा सकता है इज द स्पीड विच यू एग्जीक्यूट. सो फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से आवर प्रोडक्ट टीम, जो काम 3 हफ्ते में होता था या 10 मैन आवर्स में 10 लोगों की मेहनत लगती थी, आज AI से एक अच्छा इंटेलिजेंट कोडर या AI जो समझता है वो 15 से 20 मिनट में भी कर पाता है. Right? Again, depends on task to task, but that is the kind of scale and that is the kind of speed that one can work on.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir. Again, Arun sir, आपके लिए, since you are an investor to your companies also, I think they are all bootstrapped, or you are invested to so many other companies. So what is that best part you, or what is that strategic thing you see in the founder or the company or the startup? क्या वो एलिमेंट है जिसको देख के आप इन्वेस्ट करते हो उसमें?
एक्चुअली उसका कोई एक जवाब तो नहीं है वैसे, बट सबसे जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ होती है हमारे लिए वो होती है कि टीम कौन सी है. ठीक है, फाउंडर को फाउंडर्स क्या करते हैं, पास्ट में उन्होंने साथ में काम किया हुआ है या नहीं किया हुआ है. अगर हम फंड करते हैं तो क्या वो साथ में काम कर पाएंगे कंटिन्यूसली या नहीं कर पाएंगे, और जब ग्रो कर जाएंगे, when they start generating millions of dollars, will they be able to stick together? So team is the most important thing. The second thing we look into is the idea. Again, going back to the basics, is the idea making sense as unit economics? Yes. Is the idea scalable? Yes. And these are the 2 core parameters. Based on this, we go into investing the companies.
So first you see the founder itself,
Founders
or
team,
people.
team.
People.
Yeah, team, yes.
Yeah, team or people. And
Right.
Second, you see the scalability factor in that
Absolutely,
idea.
absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir. My next question again to Mr. Maluka. Sir, agar if you were the policy maker or a team member of the policy makers, so what is that particular thing you would suggest or you would implement जो आज के policies में missing है to scale a company?
If you want to scale a company or you want to have good number of people, the first is it is not only idea that should be good. Again, as sir said, it is the team that has to be good. If it has to come into public policy, the most important thing is plans are good. Niti Aayog definitely makes, that's the think tank of the country, makes very good plans. But the implementation is lacking somewhere. So for example, the first thing, even when we are teaching for UPSC student, one of the paper is ethics. That teaches us how to implement certain things. And secondly, there have been phases into the government. Earlier in 1970s, we were basically talking about government. Then we came to governance. Then we are coming to good governance. And then we are coming to minimal governance. Moving from government to minimum governance is the most important aspect, where it is the involvement of the people, something that is called social audit. Social audit basically means जो पैसा किसी ऑफिसर को दिया हुआ है, क्या रियलिटी में वो इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ कि नहीं हुआ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, whether a school has been there or only the building has been created and that is not having any positive impact on the people. So this is to be for, if you come into public policy, the social audit has to be done for each and every aspect. Second thing I would suggest is technology. Better, not only better integration of the technology, but also better implementation of technology has to be there. And technology has to reach nook and corner of the country. That is the most important thing. For example, even when you go to different places, people, they have a minimal access to, for example, there are certain places when even minimal qualifications are not there for the people. Even teachers are not that particular good. If we have to tell or recommend something for the public policy, the first priority thing will be how the education system can be made better. It is not the rote learning that is to be there. More than a rote learning, if a child can learn certain practical aspects that are there, कि क्या क्या मेरे को implementation में काम आएगा. It is not only ideas that are there, how to execute those ideas that are important. For example, last question we were discussing about discipline. More important than discipline, it is consistency that is required. So student has to be a consistent. So is the case of the public policy also. So certain recommendations can be there for education. Similar can be for example, in the case of health sector or multiple other sectors also.
So I think this is possible.
Sir, this is easily said, it's not going to happen. I mean, you can say it sitting over here in this hall, but it is very hard to change it,
This is impractical, but
at the national scale, I think if you were to ask me a solution that could be easily implemented in 1 hour is, to reduce the service tax, for businesses doing services in India. It is 18% right now, bring it down to 12% or 5%. That's the easiest and the most implementable, solution that is required for the service industry currently in India. Thank you.
Mohit ji, yes, I think this is again not implementable. Because government करेगी नहीं, तो best solution मेरे accordingly तो सबकी
the government has reduced corporate tax. Currently the corporate tax on the new manufacturing industries at 15%. It used to be 25% plus करके it used to reach somewhere 30-31%. If you can push it through, definitely from 18 to 12 is easily achievable. I don't see why it's not hard.
Very true. So this is something about a financial aspect matter of this country, but मेरे ख्याल से decentralization is the best solution. Already government मेरे ख्याल से blockchain adopt भी कर चुकी है, तो decentralization जैसे ही proper level पे implement हो जाएगी तो आपका solution हो जाएगा सर.
Definitely decentralization can play a major role.
True.
Sir was talking about reducing the taxes. That is looking just at one aspect of the certain things. There are various practical problems also. Decentralization, for example, in the context of blockchain, in the context of land records. So even that is not being done. We are not a country called China or US, but there are other things.
Let's discuss this. How would you apply, for example, blockchain? In which domain do you want to apply blockchain?
I do not want to apply. What I am saying is, even it is not a success in the case of land records also.
So how would you apply blockchain in the context of land records? Let's discuss that.
That is what I am saying. It is a time-taking process because, for example, in the case of land, you are into the field of infrastructure.
My question is, how would you apply blockchain in the, you said apply blockchain in the context of land records.
It is.
So how is it applicable? I'm not able to understand, because I understand land and I understand technology and everyone keeps saying, apply blockchain in land records, but I don't understand how to do that.
Mohit ji, I should request that instead of asking him, you should tell the solution only.
Rather, I want to ask everyone, everyone keeps saying, apply blockchain in terms of land records. How to do that, I don't understand it.
कहना easy होता है.
It is not even possible.
Implementation is always tough. चाहे वो startups की बात करें, चाहे वो government implementations की बात करें, it is always a tough job.
So what does a blockchain do, Let's discuss that, The reason blockchain was created and, all the cryptocurrencies were created on blockchain is, and I think, there are a lot of people who have invested in artificial intelligence companies over here. The only place and the only reason blockchain is successful is because there are validators in blockchain. So for example, people would want to say that apply blockchain in land records. That would mean that if there are too many people authenticating a land deal, for example, then that land deal stands valid and hence it could not be forged. But how would you apply that in context of land records is what I'm not able to understand, because I've heard this phrase many number of times. Rather, people keep saying, apply blockchain in other domains too. But I would really want to understand, how to do that. If anyone...
मेरे ख्याल से आप दोनों ही सही बोल रहे हो. जो उन्होंने solution बताया, that is possible. आप जो बता रहे हो, that is not impossible even, but
think
time लगेगा.
We are just digressing from the key because that's a very long debate to get into blockchain.
Exactly.
Right?
We should conclude it amicably only. So next question is with you, sir, only. Sir, आपने जब मेरे से बात की थी फर्स्ट टाइम, तो मैंने आपके फेस के पीछे एक पैट्रियट भी देखा था साथ में, कि यू आर मोर पैट्रियोटिक टुवर्ड्स योर कंट्री ऑल्सो बीइंग. मेरे ख्याल से आप शायद वापस भी इसीलिए आए यूएस से. लेकिन क्या ऐसा अभी आप कर रहे हो अपने बिजनेस में या अपने वेंचर में विच इज़ कनेक्टेड विद द सोल ऑफ इंडिया?
So whichever way you could serve to the nation, I mean, there are people who are more patriotic than me. A lot of people who are into forces, they go serve our country at the borders. Some are fighters or whatever. I'm a true capitalist to a certain level with a love for my country, and I believe strongly in capitalism. We are doing good business, and I wouldn't say we're doing everything for the country, but along with doing good business in the country, if we could do something for the nation, build infra for the nation, then we definitely feel proud about it. Currently, all the developments that we're doing, as I said, earlier also, when you told me that we're a real estate company, I said, we would like to call ourselves as infrastructure company because we want to build infra for the country. We want to build IT parks, we want to build logistic parks, free trade zones, where a lot of companies can come in, put up offices, and do great business. That's what we want to develop, which would eventually lead to collection of GST and income tax, which would lead to more money with the government exchequer, and which would eventually come back again to build more infra in forms of roads and railways and everything else. So that being said, we strongly want to develop the country as much as we can, and along with building all these parks, we are working with few joint ventures also. We're trying to bring few big technology companies in India and get into electronic manufacturing by doing joint ventures, which has been signed rather yesterday itself. I was in Hong Kong tonight only. I landed in India at 4 a.m. So yesterday itself I was in, and even today I was in Hong Kong. So that being said, we have signed a few big things in last few days, which would be in public domain in coming week or two. Thank you.
So congratulations for this new JV, and we hope it is something impactful for the development of our nation also. Thank you so much. Thanks all the participants, all the panelists here. Thank you once again.
Thank you much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Now I would like to call upon stage Mr. Raj.